morning. President Trump is standing by his national security team as the fallout intensifies after top officials mistakenly shared attack plans for U.S. military strikes in Yemen on the Signal messaging app with a journalist. In an
Wait a minute, did I just hear that right?
exclusive phone interview on Saturday, the president told me, quote, "I don't fire people because of fake news and because of witch hunts." Mr. Trump said he still has confidence in Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
He said
just hours ago, President Trump called me to tell me he is, quote, pissed off with Russia's President Putin and threatened to impose secondary tariffs on Russia's oil. Quote, "If Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I am going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming out of Russia." Mr. Trump said 25% tariffs on Russian oil could happen any moment and told me he plans to speak with President Putin this week. The president told me, quote, "I was very angry, pissed off when Putin started getting into Zelensky's credibility and started talking about new leadership in Ukraine." On Iran, the president said he's also considering secondary tariffs if Iran doesn't agree to a nuclear deal. Quote, "If they don't make a deal, there will be bombing." And
Yep. Can't fight fire with water. You got to fight fire with fire.
you can't fight fire with water?
Yeah. Depends on what's in the fire.
They specifically do fight fire with water.
Yeah.
will be bombing the likes of which they have never seen before. After markets tumbled on Friday and with consumer confidence falling, the president also told me he's not backing down on his tariff plans.
All cars that are not made in the United States, if they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff.
And the president telling me tariffs are, quote, absolutely permanent. And on fears of foreign automakers raising prices, quote, "I couldn't care less if they raise prices because people are going to start buying American-made cars." And on his vow to annex Greenland, the president saying, quote, "I never take military force off the table, but I think there's a good possibility that we could do it without military force."
The process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Explanations for how you were added to that Signal group chat. Take a listen to some of what we heard.
Maybe Goldberg found a way. Maybe there's a staffer. Maybe there's a very innocent staffer. But I think we'll get to the bottom of it very quickly, and it's really not a big deal.
Well, look.
Huh? You don't shit, you dumbass. All right.
Okay, staffer wasn't responsible, and look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated. I'm sure everybody out there has had a contact where it was said one person and then a different phone number.
But you've never
Wait a minute, did I just hear that right?
talked to him before, so how's the number on your phone? I mean, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it's just curious. How's the number on your phone?
Well, if you have somebody else's contact and then then somehow it gets
someone
sucked
sent
in,
you that
it gets
contact.
sucked in.
Wait a minute, did I just hear that right?
Jeffrey, what?
This isn't the Matrix. Phone numbers don't just get sucked into other phones. I don't know what he's talking about there. Very frequently in journalism, the most obvious explanation is the explanation. My phone number was in his phone because my phone number is in his phone. He's telling everyone that he's never met me or spoken to me. That's simply not true. I understand why he's doing it. But this has become a somewhat farcical situation.
That punch was Holy cow! He's dead!